All right, January is just around the corner and gyms are getting very busy. At the time of recording, it's December 29th, and when I go to the gym right now, there is a heap of people and a heap of people that I don't recognize. And I know that a lot of you are in the same situation, so I thought today it'd be a great time to talk about how to behave with new people at the gym for those of us who regularly go. Now, I think to set the context for the conversation, it's important to realize that it's probably more important that they're in the gym than you are. People who go to the gym traditionally, if you weren't at the gym, you would probably have an itch to move for some reason. Where a lot of these people will not move at all. It's not in their normal routine, and in terms of long-term health, they would be in trouble if not moving regularly. So, here are my top 4 tips to be able to tolerate these people a little bit better, because let's be honest, it can get a little bit frustrating. Tip number 1 is be patient, and be patient as much as you possibly can. These people are entering a space where they have no idea what's going on. They don't know what's safe or unsafe or smart or stupid. And the way I think of it is, if you have no background in construction and you rocked up on a job site day one, you are not going to have any idea that you shouldn't walk into that zone, or you're wearing the wrong helmet or wrong protective gear, whatever it is. And on a construction site on day one, the person responsible for your safety is not you, it's whoever's supervising you. It's the foreman, it's the other guys on the crew. Then the foreman is responsible that the crew is safe when there's someone there who doesn't know what they're doing. So you need to be proactive. Someone is going to walk behind you on a squat. Someone is going to try to squeeze by the bar when you're bench pressing. Someone could be walking very close to you when you're working with dumbbells, and that's just how it's going to go. You know this. You've been through this before, and the responsibility is on you to make sure that you keep yourself and you keep the people around you safe. Now, number 2, of course, we need to educate them on what's safe and unsafe. But tip number 2 is integrate them with respect. If you don't know someone, you do not give them advice. Full stop. Whether it's about being safe or unsafe, or should be doing this or should be doing this. And again, if you're in a new job, you're in a new environment for the first time, you're not particularly comfortable. If the first interaction you have with someone is that they're telling you that you're doing something wrong, you're probably going to come across like a dickhead, regardless of how nice you try and be about it. If there's an obvious mistake that happens, they bump into you, okay, let them know that, maybe do this or this. But if you don't have to, make it your priority to introduce yourself to them, say hello, find out why they're at the gym. You probably know that they're new to the gym, and then use that as a foundation to talk to them later. Tip number 3. Help people who want help. Again, they're in an environment where they are not knowing what they're doing, but everyone wants to know what they're doing. Meaning that if you're going up unsolicited and the first thing you have to say is, you're doing this exercise wrong, or let me show you this, or let me show you how to do this, they don't want to, and they won't like you. Simple as that. And you are, in large part, wasting their time. Now, as someone who has a huge background in exercise, I have a master's degree, professional strongman, whatever authority you want to use, take my authority that there are many more safe ways to do something than unsafe ways to do something. And the primary thing that you should educate people on to stay safe is load, intensity, and volume. And odds are, when you go up to help someone with their technique, you're not asking about their load, intensity, and volume. Let's say someone's squatting with knees in, the most common thing that someone would want to go correct. But let's say their knees are caving because they were born with flat feet, and they have gluteal paralysis from a back injury 10 years ago. Okay, as I've progressed through the gym and I've learned more and more, the more I realize, without understanding the context of why someone's doing something, it's virtually justifiable to do nearly anything. And I think that in large part when I have a sandbag on my head and I'm running and throwing it. Thank you to the unspun and thrown at the Arnold. And my final tip, number 4, and I've touched on this a little bit already, but just understand their psyche. Imagine the feeling of going into an unfamiliar space. of being what you perceive to be the least fit person in the room, of feeling like everyone is going to be looking at you and everyone is going to be thinking that you're an idiot. Your primary goal is going to be to not look like an idiot, meaning that you might walk around the place more comfortable than you should. You might be walking with your chest a little bit more proud than you should. Or you might be just using equipment in a wrong way without asking someone. And all of those things are just tying back to like, this person is really uncomfortable in this space. I use the example of a client that I used to have over in Australia who's a very, very high up lawyer. When he walked into the gym, and that was my space, I had no issue talking to him, no issue correcting him. We were, I felt as though we were intellectual equals, even though we were far from it. And if I imagine myself walking into his lawyer's office, my palms would get sweaty. I wouldn't know where to sit. I wouldn't know what to wear. I wouldn't know what to do. Okay. And the only way I would is if I was integrated in the community and I got a little bit more exposure. Okay. When you go to the gym for the first time, there's a lot of stuff to learn and just little subtle things of you should do this, you shouldn't do this. And you'll learn them over time. And we don't all need to be teachers because most of us hated our teachers. Let's be honest. I'll finish with a quick statistic. The root of 87% of conflict is rooted in lack of self-confidence. While this is a statistic that I just completely made up, I 100% believe that it's close. And someone in that space is going to be lacking confidence in one way or another. Of course, they're in the gym because they want to change themselves for the better. All right, so in summary, the tips are be patient, integrate them with respect, help people who want help, and understand their psyche and where they're coming from. In the end, if they're being a jerk, they're being a jerk, whether it's at the gym or not at the gym, okay? And you can treat them as such. But if you're being a jerk because they're in your comfortable space, it's public and you're also a jerk. So let's lift heavy, be kind, get along with one another, and we'll see you at the gym.